Good evening, everybody. This is JPicoDeath checking in for the very final update of the Loco 4-pack evolution of a settlement build challenge. This is my third month overview, and this past week we did post up week 12. That was the roleplay finale, so this is just going to be a kind of wrapping up, giving you a behind-the-scenes look at some of the things that we did. So yeah, without further ado, on to the OOC tour. So I was really liking the shape of this building. It's always offended me that these big O generators have such spindly legs, and I thought they just needed a little something else. And in this instance, I thought it was going to be a good idea to build a kind of a little wind farm, a building. All this power does run downhill. We use this build anywhere to make this possible. But just a couple prefabs with some walls and some other miscellany put together, and then tried to make it look as though there were some sort of machines that were helping this thing along. I was hoping to do a bank of like batteries as well, but it seemed a little bit of overkill. Considering that the wind was giving us everything, and storage, maybe not, I don't know. But I thought that was a fun little thing. And the electricity does run downhill, but officially speaking, the power dies at the settlement line. So it does not in any way, shape, or form contribute to the official settlement. The line for the settlement is somewhere about here, I think. And so the power doesn't go either direction, up or downhill. But wanted to have a good way to control the whole thing. I was really hoping to be able to have individual on-offs for the buildings as well, but even starting with this very first one, they were just too close. And I don't have any of the Xbox conduits that allow you to have insulated conduits, or whatever the heck they're called. But we did set them up on a series of delays, interval delays, let the power run out to each of them. The one that goes off to this first building here, has its own delay to it. And then down over here, there's another one that goes to the bar. And there was a separate line that went from the switch across the building over here to the lighthouse, and then the lighthouse jumped again. The one for the lighthouse is up here on the corner. Then we jump again over to this building. We've got it glitched into this pillar right here, into this post. And around the corner one more time, and there's going to be another one glitched right here into the corner, where it lights up all of this. Now in the video, my last video, there is I included a kind of an electrical throw noise. If that's easy to find somewhere, I don't know where it is, but essentially I had to make my own, and I think it worked out. I hope it did anyway. But it was a lot of fun, and I actually had to wire the entire settlement in 1 week because there was no electricity anywhere. But I did like that it had. It was all very visible, not any. There was really nothing hidden about it. Very kind of plain. But we do have some lights for the shop, and on the back side of the shop here. Oh, what do you know? She's not quite in her right spot.
We're in some real trouble here. I hope you can help.
I don't think now's the time, Paige. Anyway, she's our general vendor. We do have level 3 vendor mats down for most of my vendors. None of them are at the regular stalls or counters or anything like that. They just seemed to, I don't know. I don't know if overused is the right thing, or just they didn't seem to maybe out of place. Maybe that's the right way to say it. So I'm loading into the build menu here. But all of my vendors, as I said, have their own mats. At least I think I'm loading in. Unless this is frozen up on me. There we go. So this is Paige on her mat, which of course we can't even see what it is right now. Anyway, they're all standing on invisible vendor mats. But she is our general vendor, general trader. Put a bunch of pictures and miscellaneous things around. In the bedroom here, there really weren't any changes this very past week, but I did say that we had been blown out by a grenade, and so we expanded the bedroom up. I wanted to do some more junk decoration, but the truth is I ran out of time, way ran out of time. It was 2 a.m. for me by the time I got my final done. So as far as her shop is concerned, you know, there was some good stuff. I think I kind of breezed past it. You couldn't read it very well, but there is a sign for a gun shop. You guys need to make up your minds. Kaylee says that they're okay, but the other girl says they need help. So, again, here on the general trader shop, I didn't fill up all the shelves. Honestly, most of it, besides the fact that it was going to be a decoration nightmare, I was really pushing that this is all kind of still fledgling. Although they're getting established, you know, the vendor shops only came in a few weeks ago. Up in here, this is the quarters for the guards. I kind of like that there's a mod that gives us open comics to look at. I thought that was kind of fun. But other than a little bit of decoration, there's really not much changed in those rooms. Up into here, though, I did officially flesh out this this area. She once again is on the other side. Looks like her counter is just a teensy bit too tall. She's actually glitching her fingers into it. But yeah, her rug is there, and I just kind of liked the makeshift countertop for her. And that stupid helmet wouldn't fit very well, but I thought it looked really kind of cool the way it sat on the edge. I don't know if it was supposed to or not, but either way. And then of course out here, now we really didn't have any changes. I did for the tour have the power for the beacon turned off. This is a fuse box. It's officially a generator, a power generator, and it's completely self-contained. There's nothing that attaches to it. It just creates power. So with that is added by a mod, but it's not officially in the full count for the.
One that ends without an empty stomach.
Thanks, James. It doesn't add to the power count for the settlement. And James, officially, we fleshed out his all the way. We got him full of a bunch of different stuff. We're not going to go back in there again because we've seen it before. But let's see. There's really no reason to be there. Here's once again, the delayed on switch for the bar. Let's take a shortcut here. On this side, officially, this is the water pump that I created for the... oh, look at that. I still have a pillar out here for glitching. This is the water pump that I created for emptying the pond, and I didn't want to destroy it, so I just moved it over to this side of the settlement. And it is helping the count for the power, or excuse me, the water count for the settlement. But this is also on its own dedicated fuse box. We had that done a long time ago. Up into the bar, we got some just general decorations on all the tables and everything. Alpha's real cheerful, but get a little bit of lighting for the bar. I wanted to put more on the shelves, but once again...
Actually, I'll be back later.
Oh, I was really hoping that was going to be less fast than that. I'm sorry. Or more quickly than that. I wanted to get more, but I just didn't have the time for all the decorations. So we did stack these shelves up some and gave his personal living space some more detail as well, but not very much. Admittedly, I had wanted to add in an extra stack to vent this out the roof, but I never did, as you can obviously tell. And really, there's no other changes in here, just lighting. The Nuka-Cola machine actually is added by a mod, and it's kind of fun because when people go up to it, they actually they put money into it and they kick it like it wasn't working. I just like the shape of the bar. Honestly, this view right here was really what inspired the bar to be built to begin with. I wanted to be able to look down and see the bar, you know, kind of like if you were at big fancy club or something, you look down and there's all kinds of people everywhere. We really didn't do anything else with the outside of this. I had kind of thought about trying to set up a situation where I could run a power switch somewhere off of the guard towers and light up spotlights and turrets over here. But once I found out that the power didn't actually travel down the lines past the settlement border, I changed my mind about it, because it would have been fun, certainly, to put something out there, but just not feasible based on the mechanics that I was up against. But I thought it was going to be interesting to put spotlights and turrets for all that random crap that spawns at the bottom of that bridge there, and just let, I mean, this settlement, if there's always shit there, they'll defend that area. That makes sense to me. The greenhouse was officially finished since the last time that we updated. The one thing that is kind of, well, I like the planter for a start. Hey, I'm glad they're actually up on top of it this time. But this piece of roof right here is actually not a piece that exists in the game. It is officially one of these pieces of roof flipped over upside down. So this is officially upside down. You can't tell unless you're really looking at it. The glass is on the underside though, not the top. So it is a...
Isn't that something?
Really, Xander? Get out of the way. So yeah, that roof piece right there doesn't exist in the game, which I think is an oversight by the builders, the people that put the stuff together. But what do I know? Of course, the water section down here got all working and good again. I made sure to put bloodleaf down here because I wanted it for things like squirrel stew. So we actually are able to harvest these up for our materials as well. But that's just, hey, look at that. That wall's not quite as close as it could be here. Huh. First time I've noticed that, apologies. And of course we've got our seed house, or the nut house. Everybody was commenting about the shape of the building, how unusual it is, and in fact it is an unusual shaped building. Certainly the walls are all straight. Let's see, what's the right way to say that? All of these are, of course, regular pieces of flooring with walls snapped to them. On the diagonals, however, are these concrete pieces that were intended to go between those concrete walls on the diagonal. But there are no pieces in the game that fit that for wooden structures or anything like that. So we have, for example, here the wooden doorway with pieces of barn to help stop the sides up. And then I had to kind of hide a lot of stuff here on the front so you didn't see the all the walls poking down. But a lot went into this building. Honestly, I spent 3 hours alone trying to get this freaking ceiling to work. I could not for the life of me figure out the best way to make that happen. Because these walls, again, don't exist. Every stick of this wall is hand placed. In this instance, there's a fence here with another board underneath it, and just some more boards and plywood. And all, like I said, the entire thing, including the lean that those walls have, everything was hand placed. So that was kind of a real pain in the butt. But I could not figure out how to make this roof work proper. So unfortunately, there's a lot of kind of glitching up here. If you look, the textures aren't quite right in a lot of places, and there's a lot of overlapping and all that. But this is the very best solution I could come up with. And it did take me about 3 hours to get them placed well enough that I wasn't throwing a fit about it. So these are just pieces of the Raider tents, but I have some in my mod list that are without the poles on the bottom, so they're just flat. And I ended up putting an angle on them. I tilted them to match what the roof needed, and it works well enough at a glance anyway. This wall again was hand built. From sticks and wire and everything else. So my hope is that it all kind of blended together well enough that nobody was offended by it and said, what the heck? And here, this is just this is 2 pieces of wall. But as you can see, the upright supports the walls actually had to poke down here because these posts were too tall they were too tall to match. If I'd gone the other way, they'd be way up there. So I made them as tall as I could without being too crazy with it. And ended up with our seed house here, our nut house. A pain in the butt to build, but honestly kind of one of my favorite parts of the build. The vendor area, I don't think we had this, or excuse me, the vendor. One of these cows is having a problem. Sorry, what are they called? Traders, the traveling vendors. Caravans, that's what they're called. They stop up here now. I realized after the fact that I've got this floating. I didn't place that as well as I could, and I should have put this picnic table. I should have tilted it, but I didn't notice it until it was too late. That thing is floating. But this little piece is it's from a mod. This tent. However, there's only a few supports on it, so I had to support it my own the rest of the way with these kinds of posts out of the chain link section. Moo! We have literally built nothing at all up in any of this part of the screen. I really wanted to try to build something up here, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work because all of this is one building, one part. But because I am officially siding with not the Institute, with the railroad for this mission, I wanted to be able to do something up here that was going to be like a secret place to be. And if you play your cards right, you can actually get over onto this section here and walk out that way. But I couldn't figure out how to build like a secret room that I liked, so I just left it alone. If this settlement continues, there will certainly be a safe room somewhere. The doctor, of course, just kind of, she had to have a place to live. Needed an area for the chem station. She was the most likely place to do that. This building here, from the very first wall that I placed, was actually this one right here. Everything else was built off of it. And I had to place that wall a bunch of times to be able to get all my snapping and spacing to work out, because I wanted these turret towers, stations, whatever you want to call them, I wanted them to even off and work out correctly on the building. And they ended up being pretty close, so I really liked the spacing of them. I mean, here I could have done a little better to close that gap, but honestly nobody even ever saw it, so it really didn't matter. I really like this little entranceway too, although it's kind of funny because one of these you can't actually walk through. Oh, no, I guess we can, just not right there. But I like the idea of coming in here. This is going to be the storage for the settlement, for the traders that come through. This one here at the back is a pre-decorated shelf. It's part of a mod. And then I put boxes and other miscellaneous stuff down to try to disguise the fact that I didn't have enough time to decorate everything as well as I wanted to. But this building up here, again, I spent a lot of time the week before figuring out how I wanted to make this one work, how I wanted it to look. And I mean, I'd known ever since I started building this platform that I wanted something up here. I just didn't know what it was going to look like, what it was going to be. And then I got up here and I realized that I really wanted to make it kind of tiered so that we could have these bunks up here, which left us with a dilemma of, you know, how do you get the walls to match? How do you get the roofs to match? And I think it worked out pretty well. If you weren't looking for it too hard, you may not even notice. But there's half walls working here. And, you know, I had originally planned on having the door would be situated somewhere else. I had it all snapped together in a way that I could use snap points to keep it nice and clean. But then somewhere along the way I lost whatever that perfect combination was. And I had to fake this corner. There is no roof here. But, you know, we got a couple railings faked together again with the diagonals being a problem. And a couple floors to fill that gap. because we just don't have anything that matches. And yeah, I just wanted a place for the caravanners to be able to stay and lodge. I didn't figure there would be a whole lot of personal effects. Nothing terribly permanent, you know. Most of it's stuff that can be picked up and carried with, and liquor bottles, a little bit of food, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just wanted it to be kind of didn't have a very permanent feel to it, where these guys could stay overnight, spend their caps at the bar, and then go home, you know. This little building was another odd one to throw together, this area. I really wanted a guard post on this side. I was kind of hoping for flanking guard posts originally, and then I decided that with the turrets and these guards up here, it wasn't really going to be worth the fight of doing anything else. I didn't see it being necessary, perhaps is a better way to say that, to have guards posted on both sides of the road here. But in their little area, they've got these defense,
Not much, but it's something.
the defense bunkers that are, I think these are the gunner ones. I know these are plain. And just a little bit of an area of a little more storage. I had hoped originally to do more with this, but I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So I figured keep it simple and don't worry about it too much. But yeah, that is my Starlight at a long glance. Really no tricks other than the audio trick I used to make the lights make noise. I don't know if it's very noticeable in the video or not, but I did actually go all the way up and I put lights pointing up at the saucer. So there are lights actually trying to light the saucer up. But of course tore it all down. But yeah, that's the settlement. So I'm glad everybody came along for the journey. It was really kind of fun building this place up in a very different way that I'd never done before. And you know, it was also very fun to see what other people made. The truth is, at this minute, I am like 2 weeks behind on the videos, but everything up to what I watched was very fun. So I hope you've all enjoyed the ride as well, and we'll be seeing you another time. So this is going to be JP Godeth signing off officially for the Loco 4-pack Evolution of a Settlement Build Challenge. This is our third monthly update, and it's all over. So if we get time to build some more with Vic and have some more story down the road, that might happen. But in the immediate, I'm actually going to be making a montage of all the role-playing that we did with Vic here. And that way somebody could sit down in one session and listen to the whole story in one go. I expect that to be up sometime in the next handful of days, maybe the next weekend, I don't know for sure. And yeah, I guess that's all. Thanks everybody for being here, really appreciate you. JP Godeth signing off. Bye-bye.